All right, so here we are, another Facebook Live video, and we're kind of continuing along in the series of myths that are potentially holding you back with your WordPress business. So we talked about, whether or not you need more clients, how to find clients. The last presentation was about, the mystical or magical world where all of the ideal clients live. So today, the myth or the problem that we're going to be talking about is clients that won't take action. And the myth is that for whatever reason, clients just want to delay their projects, or clients just are incapable of taking action and meeting the deadlines for the projects that you're working on with them. And so really, here's the thing: there's like two things that are holding back most projects, and these two things may very well apply to you. And one of the things is client deliverables. And the other thing is urgency in the project. So with regard to client deliverables, what do I mean when I say client? That's the stuff that you're waiting on your client to give to you. So you have deliverables, like you have like logos and design and colors and sitemaps and things like that you deliver to the client. But then there's also things that your client delivers to you. And most notably, the copy for the website tends to be the real roadblock that really slows things down with regard to making forward progress on web projects. And the issue with the copy is, like, you can have it like put in your proposal, like when the deadline is for it, what's required, how much, what pages you need to have copy for, and that you can't move forward without that. And if you do, if they miss the deadline, it's going to delay the project. You can have all those disclaimers in written form and presented to your client, and they know it, and they still delay giving you the copy for the website. And therefore, the projects get drawn out forever, and it just causes a big problem. It really just rains on your bag of fireworks, and it just causes projects to get delayed. The other issue that's very similar to this one too is urgency. And for whatever reason, clients don't seem to have a sense of urgency about moving forward in the project. And this can show up in a couple of ways. It can show up in not making forward progress with the deliverables that they owe you for the project. It can show up and you send out a proposal and it just sits there and they don't do anything with it. They don't say yes, they don't say no, they don't reply, it just sits there. Or you're waiting for a call back and they don't call. Whatever it may be, there's just no sense of urgency. So you're sitting there really ready to crush it, but they're over there doing other things, right? They're distracted, they just don't have this sense of urgency. And combined, those two things are really what delays and just draws out and extends projects to the point where it becomes very difficult to run your business, because you can't launch the websites and get paid for your work and all that stuff because you're waiting on client deliverables. So what can you do about it? So what I wanted to talk about today is, what are some things that you can do to overcome these issues? So we're talking about client deliverables, we're talking about the lack of urgency. And so let's talk about the deliverables first, especially the copy. So why won't your clients write the copy for the website? And you're tempted to think that they're not writing the copy because they don't want to, or they don't care, or whatever. But really, it comes down to a couple of things. One, they don't have the time. Like there's a lot of other stuff going on in the lives of your clients. Like they're running their business, they're taking phone calls, they're dealing with the problems that come up, and there's just lots of stuff going on. And so it's difficult for them to find the time to devote to doing something big and new, like writing the copy for their website. Or even if it's just revising the copy of their existing website, whatever it is, there's still all of these other things going on in their business that's distracting them, that's taking their time, and that they feel like they have to do. There's those things that are just more urgent than writing the copy. But the real problem is, or the bigger problem is, not only are there distractions, but they don't like writing the copy. And they don't like it for a couple reasons. They're usually not very good at it. Most business owners really struggle with trying to figure out what to say. And I mean, this could very well be the case for you too. Like, haven't you ever had the situation where you feel like you have really a lot of clarity with what your clients ought to be saying? And like when you're working with a client and you're building their website, you have a lot of clarity with, they really ought to be talking about these features or these aspects of their business. Whereas when you go to write the copy for your own website, for whatever reason, you just can't do it. It's like you're just too deep in the weeds to be able to see what you really ought to be writing about for yourself. And so this same issue applies to the businesses and the clients that you're working with, that they might even have some more success if they were trying to write the copy for your website while you were writing the copy for theirs, or whatever the case may be. When you ask a client to describe what they do, the problem is they immediately jump deep down into the weeds as to the details, the deep details of whatever it is that they do. So if they're a dietitian, they get deep into the details of how their diets help people lose weight or deal with gluten sensitivity or whatever it is. Or if they sell swimming pools, then they dive deep into the details about why their pools are the best and why concrete pools versus fiberglass pools or in-ground pools versus above ground. All those details get kind of just thrown out there. And all of the real reason why people need to be reading the content in the first place is pretty much just overlooked. So there's no draw in. There's no reason that, like when you land on the website, there's no reason to understand why you need to invest your time in reading all of that content. And so there's a lot of time involved on behalf of your client. They're uncomfortable doing it, so they don't like it, doesn't feel good. And then the end result tends to be bad. And so kind of like what we were just talking about, there's far too much information. It's not organized. There's no framework for delivering the information in a way that really resonates with the people that are coming to the site. It's just a big blah of copy that gets sent to you. And what ends up happening is, most WordPress developers then will take that copy, they'll copy and paste it onto the website, and then that will be the end result of the site. And so as far as getting the copy back, though, the reason that people tend to delay in doing it is because they don't like doing it. They're not good at doing it. They procrastinate doing it. And so even if there was a sense of urgency, this particular issue is one of those things where wouldn't it be so much better if there was a way to not have to rely on them for the copy? So kind of getting into the what can you do about it aspect of the client deliverables, well, there are some deliverables that you just have to get from the client. Like, for example, their domain name or their DNS settings, or some of the technical stuff that you just have to get from them in order to launch the website, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. Maybe if it's a brand new website, that kind of reduces the complexity a little bit because maybe you can reserve the domain yourself or whatever. But there's some things that you have to get from your client because you're working together. But then there's other things, and this copy is one of them, that you would be able to perhaps take on yourself instead of asking them to do it. So I know when I say that, then a lot of people are like, wait a second, I'm not a copywriter. I don't do that. I build WordPress sites, and of course that's true. But here's the thing: if you want to get better at writing copy, there's a framework that you can follow for doing it, and I can show you how that works. So if that's something that you want to improve your skills in, let's talk about that, and then I can help you with the development of your copywriting skills, so that rather than asking your client to develop all this copy that they're not good at, that they're not take the time to do, it's going to draw out the projects, and then the end result is going to be bad. Rather than that approach, why not you and me get on the phone, and I'll lay out a framework for how you can actually write better copy for your client's website without them having to do the writing. So there's absolutely a framework and a way you can go about doing that, and we can talk about that if that's something that's interesting to you. You can go over to doublestack.net/call, and my schedule is made available there for you, so that you can pick a time, that'll work, and that'll get you right into my personal schedule. And then there'll be a little form you can fill out with a couple of questions, like a link to your website, and a couple of questions about like who you normally work with. So when we get on the call, I'll be prepared and I'll know a little bit about you, and we can just jump right into it. So if that sounds like something you want to do, go over to doublestack.net/call and we'll talk. So back to the urgency side of things. So in addition to the problem of the copy, which we can overcome by doing it ourselves, then what about just the urgency? So like you send out a proposal and it just sits there, or you're trying to schedule a meeting, but it's just hard to coordinate schedules, or whatever it might be. It just seems like the client is disengaged and distracted and not really interested. I mean, they know that they need a website. They know that they probably want to work with you, but it's just not making any progress. So why is that? And the reason is it's the urgency. They're not feeling like there's any urgency. And what that means is they could either build the website now, they could build it tomorrow, they could build it next week. Not having it is not big of a deal. Getting a new one's not really going to change much. But they realize that there'll probably be some sort of incremental benefit if they have a better website. And maybe they know that their current website looks like trash on mobile devices, and they need to do something about it. But who knows how many people are really visiting their site on mobile devices, and who knows what Google's going to do to the search engine results or whatever, because of mobile viewing or whatever it might be. It's all of these just kind of, abstract kind of technical things, and it's very easy to push that kind of stuff off when you're like, oh wow, I just got another call scheduled, or I just lost a client, or I've got a big problem I got to figure out about payroll, or whatever it is that's going on in the day-to-day life of the clients that you're working with. Those types of things appear to be more urgent, even if they're less important. See, there's a difference. Urgency and importance aren't really the same thing. Like, something can be very, very important, but not very urgent. Like, for example, exercise. You got to exercise, but like if you don't do it right now, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But something can also be very urgent and not very important. Like the phone rings. It could be a telemarketer, but the phone is ringing, so you have to do something about it right now, even though the person on the other end of the phone might be a very unimportant type of a call. Like somebody might even not even maybe be a real person. So all that is to say that, they might think that getting the website is important, but it's not urgent for them. There's nothing really pressing them to do it. And so in order to overcome that, it's important to impart urgency into the project. And the way that you do that is by looking at the opportunity cost. Like, what are they missing out on because they don't have the website, and what will they be getting once they do? And if you're focusing on those two sides, then urgency gets injected into the project, where they're like, well, I don't want to keep having this problem. I have to stop the problem. And that causes urgency. And then on top of that, they could say, once I do stop the problem, then I'm going to have these benefits, and I really want to get that. I want to get more calls booked. I really want to do better with communicating where I'm going to be when I do public speaking engagements or book signings, or I want to be able to really grow my email list. Whatever it is that people want to be able to do that they're currently not doing, by injecting that urgency into the proposal or into the even just the client meeting process in general, that's going to be one of those things that really drives your clients into action. See, nobody is motivated by digital marketing. Nobody is motivated by graphic design. Nobody's motivated by content marketing or blogging. Nobody's motivated by any of those things. Those things don't drive people to do stuff. But that's also the stuff that primarily enters into these client discussions. It's like, these are the types of things that you're listing of how you're going to interact with your clients. And while you can understand, and they can understand, that doing those things would be an important thing to do, it's just not an urgent thing to do. And so, it doesn't drive people into action. Whereas, missed opportunities or the benefits of upcoming and future opportunities, those are the types of things that you don't want to miss out on. And then that's fundamentally transforms the attitude that your client has with regard to working with you in all of these things. So, that's really the gist of it. So we talked about the client deliverables. We talked about urgency. Those are the two things that tend to delay projects the most. And you can overcome the biggest client deliverable with regard to writing the copy by taking that on, so that you, instead of putting it on them, put it on you. And I can work with you. So if you feel like you don't have the copywriting skills to be able to pull that off, then that's the kind of thing that we can absolutely talk through and get you a framework for doing that kind of stuff. And then on the other side of the coin, it's like the urgency. So if you don't have in your set of tools the kinds of things that really drive urgency in a project, and instead you find yourself really hunkering down on things like graphic design work and WordPress maintenance plans and plugin updates and security and hosting and all of the things that are important to do but aren't really urgent things to do, well, let's talk about that too, and let's see if we can actually transform the way you run your marketing and the way that you talk about the services that you offer, so that it's the kind of thing that really inspires people. And that's what's going to put the urgency into your projects. So you get the client interaction that you're looking for, you hit the deadlines that you want, and even better than that, you're going to be able to raise your rates, because when people are really excited about things and they see the strong benefits that they're going to get out of the project, then that's a much more valuable thing than WordPress maintenance plans and security and plugin updates and that sort of stuff. So if you want to talk about those types of things, let's absolutely do it. That's why I offer these free 45-minute phone calls. It's a one-on-one consultation between you and me, and you can sign up for one at doublestack.net/call, and that's where you'll see all the different available time slots. And again, it's my personal schedule, so the time slots go really quickly. So if you don't see a time slot, I've actually just a couple days ago had to bump out the window so that I could actually have more slots available. So now there's a wider window of time in my schedule where we can make these calls. So if you want to do that, head over there right now and go to doublestack.net/call and pick one of those times, and we'll talk about your copywriting skills, the types of deliverables that you can offer to your clients. Maybe there's some things that you want to be able to do with WordPress that you don't know how to do yet, and you're looking to learn some new tech skills. Maybe you're trying to figure out some new business skills too. So all of that kind of stuff is stuff that we absolutely can talk about. So head over there, schedule a call if you want to talk, and I really look forward to meeting you, and thanks again for showing up today. And in the meantime, if you have any questions or comments and you want to leave them here in this video, then I'll be keeping an eye on that as well. So until next time, high five, whoop, and look forward to talking to you, and see you again soon.